For the Nifty, so still trading flat. The mid-cap index is still outperforming, but if you look at the advanced decline ratio, that was about 4:1 at around 9:30, and that's come down to nearly 2:1. So there's been a bit of profit booking in some of the mid-caps as well. One of the most volatile stocks has been Indiabulls Housing Finance. Gagan Banga, Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Indiabulls Housing Finance, now joins in. Gagan, good morning. Always good to talk to you. So the first question, of course, is on that UK acquisition because the market didn't like it, but is the transaction still well and truly on, or is there any kind of rethink on that?
No, I don't think it was a situation of the market not liking it, as is reflected in the stock as well. I think there was clearly, given the fact that given the political event in London, the timing of the transaction turned out to be on a public holiday, and it was perhaps not very well understood by the market. But with our large shareholders have shown great confidence in the management's decision and in the merit of the decision, and which is why the stock actually today trades at a small premium to where it was on the day on the day prior to the announcement of the transaction. The transaction's done. We are proud controlling shareholders of OakNorth Bank, and I think I continue to be a strong believer in the fact that this would open up many options, and it would definitely over the long run be a huge credibility rub-off benefit that would accrue to the company.
Okay, so you've invested, Gagan, around $100 million for that 37 or 40% stake approximately in the bank. So that money is already flown out as per my understanding then, and would there be any more incremental investments that we could be looking at?
Yeah, so the money, the transaction had culminated at the time that we had made the announcement. So it was an event which was going on in parallel, and so there are two very important pieces of information which perhaps should be known to your viewers and our stakeholders. One, the permission from RBI is very, very specific, and therefore we have a permission for $100 million US, and we can't invest $101 million US. So this is it, and this amount of capital has been plugged into the business plan as has been approved by the Bank of England for OakNorth Bank for the next 36 months. And the bank does not need capital, and we will not be infusing any more capital into this or any other M&A activity. There is nothing which is on the table or we propose to do. The other is that within about a week of this transaction getting announced, BBVA, which is one of the largest European banks enjoying a market capitalization of around $50 billion US, has invested in a bank which goes by the name of Atom Bank, which is a bank again in the Challenger Bank license class of Bank of England. It is about 6 to 7 months behind in the process of licensing to OakNorth Bank, and BBVA has valued Atom Bank at exactly the same valuation that we did for a controlling stake. They've taken only 29.5%. So in some sense, the premium that we paid for control has been more than justified, and the valuation as paid by BBVA is also a validation of the very large opportunity which exists in United Kingdom for this bank. And if there is a large opportunity, and if you are able to make good of that opportunity through this vehicle, I'm sure it will have a longer term massive benefit for Indiabulls Housing back home in India.
Point taken, Gagan. Let's talk about the overall business. Your last quarter was good. In fact, your last many quarters have been good. You've seen double-digit profit growth and significant NII growth as well. But now the base effect will catch up. So for your shareholders, what kind of growth trajectory do you think your company will be able to achieve from here on?
Yeah, so the company has been, talking about a 20 to 25% growth across all financial parameters, be it NII or profit after tax growth. And I continue to remain reasonably optimistic that we will not only achieve this guidance for the year, but we should be in a position to repeat this guidance for financial year 17. The company is putting in place all the building blocks required to continue to compound at this pace of 20 to 25%, which has been our pace for the last 25 quarters. And over the next 18 quarters, we also hope to get past the very important milestone of 1 lakh crore for our balance sheet. And and that would assume that at a 20 to 25% growth, we would be at a profit after tax number of approximately 3,400 crores. So in terms of putting in all the qualitative and quantitative building blocks in place, we have done so through the course of the last year and a half. And there has been a massive change which has been brought about in the overall group structure and whatever Indiabulls Housing Finance does to ensure that this growth journey continues. And one is extremely confident of continuing with this 20 to 25% growth, and also with our long-term dividend payout policy of 50% of profits.
Okay, so 3,400 crores in terms of profits is what you're estimating for FY16?
For FY18. FY16 will be around 2,350 to 2,370 crores. That's the ballpark.
Okay, fair enough. Gagan, the other key trigger which a lot of people are looking for is maybe your meeting with rating agencies. Where does your credit rating stand at this point in time? How have they read the UK transaction? And when can we expect an upgrade based on your interactions with them?
So we're already rated AAA by 2 rating agencies, and we are in constant touch with other rating agencies. And one is optimistic that the rating agencies which rate us at AA plus level will also look at doing a positive review of our credit ratings in the near term. And the numbers that I spoke to you about are actually assuming a interest rate static scenario, as well as credit ratings to be where they are. Both a reducing interest rate scenario as well as an upgrade in the credit ratings will actually add further momentum to these earnings. I am personally very confident that with our net worth today at almost 10,500 crores, a unique position where in the larger universe of all non-bank finance companies and housing finance companies by net worth, by profits, and by market cap, now we are number 2. And also that we are today clipping both on net worth and net profits milestones which have not been achieved by privately owned non-bank finance companies or housing finance companies. So these are all great strengths that the company has, and they have obviously been taken on record by all of our rating agencies. And I'm very, very optimistic that you should hear some good news on that shortly.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Gagan, we're going to leave it on that note. Thanks very much.